Okay, for science, we're going to begin on page 59, and it says Chapter 3, Exploring the Earth's Atmosphere, which is really the study of weather. Okay, so let's read first of all the terms to remember. It says atmosphere, the layer of air that surrounds the earth. Remember in chapel today, Pastor Fuchs was talking about the firmament. All right, atmosphere. Okay, and then it says weather, the condition of the air. All right, so if the air has drops of water falling, then you know it is raining. If it has these crystallized flakes falling, you know it's snowing. All right, if the air is very thick with moisture, then we call it humid. Sometimes it's even foggy, right? So much moisture in the air that you can't even see. All right, so that's the condition of the air, which gives us our weather. The next word is absorb, to soak up. Think a sponge. You put a sponge in water, it's going to soak up the water, absorb the water. And radiate, to give off. Like when you stand in front of a heater, it's going to radiate the heat. It's going to give off heat. All right, you can feel it without even touching it. You don't want to touch it because then it'd be too hot, but you can stand in front of it or stand in front of a fireplace and you can feel the heat. We're on page 59, so be there, please. No, just be on page 59. Okay? And follow along as I read. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
No. All right, let's begin reading. When God created the earth, he gave it the right kind of air. The air we breathe is made of a mixture of carefully measured gases so that people, animals, and plants can live. All right, we already talked about a mixture. All right, when you mix things together, like when we did the sand and the water. Well, this air we breathe is a mixture of different gases. Okay? Animals and people breathe oxygen, and when we breathe out something called carbon dioxide. Well, guess what plants need? Carbon dioxide. We are breathing out what the plants need. Guess what plants give off? Oxygen. They give off oxygen, which is what we need to breathe. So we are helping each other. The plants are helping us, and we are helping the plants. And that's the way God made it. When we talk about air, we are really talking about the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the layer of air that surrounds the earth. God was already at work designing and creating our atmosphere on the second day of creation. And let's read what it says. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. All right, so think of the skies above, the stars, all the skies, that would be the firmament. Genesis 1, 7 through 8. The skies are not the firmament. The stars are not the firmament, but the stars are in the sky, right? And the clouds and all that's in the sky, that's the firmament. All right, on the next page, our atmosphere. We're on page 60 now, and that's where you should be. The Earth's atmosphere is perfectly designed for life. No other planet has been found with an atmosphere like it. Our air is made up of a mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, and other gases such as carbon dioxide. People and animals depend on oxygen. Plants depend on carbon dioxide. All life needs nitrogen. God made sure the right amount of each gas is in the air around us. All right, so there's a circle graph here. When you have a circle graph, you take a circle and you divide it into pieces. All right, so that red piece represents the amount of oxygen in our atmosphere. The green piece represents other gases. And they don't name them specifically, but maybe nitrogen would be one of them. Nope, nitrogen is the yellow section. So maybe carbon dioxide would be one of them. But there are other gases in our atmosphere other than just oxygen and nitrogen. What?
So that kind of reminds me when you were talking about like the testing quiz with us and how much they were.
Yes, Yes, that is what we did. We did a circle graph or a pie graph. This could be called a pie graph or it could be called a circle graph. All right, so the atmosphere is mostly made up of what gas? So which one is the biggest part?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen. And which gas is in a greater amount, oxygen or carbon dioxide? Oxygen. Because those other gases represented by the green section, carbon dioxide is in that little section, along with some other gases. Page 61. The air around us does not always feel the same. That is because weather is always happening in the Earth's atmosphere. Weather is the condition of the air. So what is weather? The condition of the air. The air may be hot or cold, moist or dry. The air is always moving. And when air is moving, what's that creating? More than just breeze. Wind. Okay, it could just be a breeze if it's moving lightly, but it could be wind. So moving air is wind. The air is always moving, and weather depends upon the movement of air. The three main elements or ingredients that make the weather are
Heat, water, and wind.
So you will need to know those. If I asked you for the three ingredients or elements that make up weather, you would say
Heat, water, and wind.
The sun's heat energy causes each to work and make all different kinds of weather on Earth. How does the sun do this? And that's what we're going to be studying. How does the sun make our weather? All right, let's read the verse though. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Nahum 1:3. All right, so there you see a picture of the sun, and you see the sun's rays going towards what?
The earth.
The earth. So we're going to find out what happens as the sun is sending out its heat energy and its light energy towards the earth. All right, heat. How does heat happen on the earth? Our earth stays at the right temperature for life because of how the atmosphere and the earth work together. The earth soaks up or absorbs the sun's heat energy during the daytime. As evening comes, the earth begins to radiate or give off the heat it has absorbed, warming the air around the earth. The atmosphere keeps the heat from escaping back into space. Without it, all life on the earth would freeze during the night. So can you imagine when the sun is not warming us? If that heat that was absorbed by the earth wasn't radiating back out of the earth, then we would be freezing to death at night. Isn't it amazing how God made our earth so that we're still safe, even though the sun is not shining on us? All right, without it, all the life on earth would freeze during the night. We call this the
Greenhouse effect.
So what's it called?
Greenhouse effect.
Turn the page. A greenhouse is a glass building where plants can grow even if it's too cold outside. The sun shines through the glass during the day, warming the air inside the greenhouse so the plants can grow in the right temperature. At night, the roof of the greenhouse keeps the warm air from escaping. Our atmosphere works in a similar way. We can be very thankful God designed the atmosphere in the way that he did. So what's it called again? The greenhouse effect. Because the atmosphere makes our earth like a greenhouse. All right, we are going to be recording the daily temperature. We're going to be doing that in a moment. But I do want to look. It says right there, it shows you the temperature tells how warm or cold it is and is measured by degrees. People in the United States measure degrees using the Fahrenheit scale. In other countries, the temperature is measured in Celsius. Scientists usually use the Celsius scale. Record the temperature for each day using the Fahrenheit scale. It says, then ask an adult to help you use a computer to convert each temperature to Celsius. All right, we're not going to do that right now. We're not going to worry about the Celsius. We're just going to do the Fahrenheit. Let's do the comprehension check. What is the layer of air surrounding the Earth? Atmosphere. Thank you, Joey. Atmosphere. What's the layer of air surrounding the Earth?
Atmosphere.
What are the three ingredients that make weather?
Wind.
Give me one.
Heat.
Heat. Give me another one, Dave.
Wind.
Wind and
Water.
water. Heat, water, and wind. It doesn't matter what order you say them in as long as you get all three. And what does the Earth absorb during the day? Michael?
Water.
No.
No. Heat.
Heat from the sun. Heat from the sun. The earth is absorbing heat from the sun during the day. I gave you the water with a sponge thing so you would understand what absorb meant. It does not mean the earth is absorbing water during the day. We learned just now that it absorbs the sun's heat during the day. And what happens to that heat at night? What happens to the heat at night? Hunter?
It turns cold.
Not what we learned.
It keeps us warm at night.
Why? Because the earth does what? What is that other word? Absorbs during the day and what at night? Yep. Radiates. That heat radiates back out from the earth at night so that we don't get too cold. Now, yes, it's going to be colder at night than during the day. But all day long, please put your hand down. Thank you. No, put your hand down. During the day, the earth absorbs the sun's heat. At night, it radiates that heat, gives it off to help keep our world from freezing during the night. All right, and what keeps the heat from escaping into space? I want somebody besides Joey. I think Joey has answered enough questions. What did we just learn keeps the heat from escaping? The atmosphere. All right. All right, we're going to do that page now. So get out your red, blue, and a regular pencil to write your name. No. No. Michael, you need to stop now, please. Do you understand me? All right, we're going to airplay this, and you need to listen carefully to the instructions given to you. All right, so where you see number 1, we're going to write today's date. Whoops, let me put on a pencil, don't I? So today's date is 9/20. All right, so right here, 9/20. Now, does everybody see the line going up from the number 1?
Yes.
All right, so you're going to follow this line up from the number 1, and we're going to look at the high and the low for today. Now, today is not completely over, but I'm going to go by what they're saying. We're going to use the same thing. So they're saying the high is 78 and the low is 61. So for the low, I want you to use blue. So pick up your blue colored pencil. All right, so you're going to follow this first line up till you get to 60, and I said 61, so we're going to put a dot right above the 60, really close to the line, because 61 is not that far away, right? So put a little tiny dot somewhere right above the 60 to represent 61. All right, the high, we're going to use red. So switch to your red. And the high for today is 78. So 78 is close to what? 80. So we're going to make it be closer to the 80. So put it really high. All right, 78. All right, and those are both going to be on the same line, that first line. Not this one, but this first one, because that goes up from number 1. If we were to go back down to the bottom, then we would see that's at the number 1 line. All right, and we're going to keep doing this each day. And then when we're done, we're going to connect the red line, the red dots, into one line, and we're going to connect their blue dots into one line to see if the temperature was going up or down. I just see another blue dot that I didn't get erased with from last year. All right, so did everybody put a blue dot just a little tiny bit above 60 and a red dot just a little bit below the 80? Okay? Yes.
I did one of these at my old school before.
Did you?